So automation sometimes is more appropriate because if we have a batch of components that are all the same, that a person would just literally usually stand there and put one of them in at a time, that person could be used doing something else a little bit more appropriate, whereas this cobot is just going to work away all day, potentially all night if it needed to. It's not going to catch a cold, it's not going to be off sick the next day, it's just going to carry on until it's pressed stop.
Traceability is key in regulated sectors. If you're making parts, you need to know where they're coming from and who made them. Now, Paul, we're here at SIC Marking on MAC 22. Unfortunately, it's the last day. First of all, why should people think about traceability when it comes to making manufactured parts?
Traceability is key for manufacturing, the manufacturing process at the moment. This is to make sure that companies can trace back for when and how and where a part was actually made, what cast it came from, what batch it came from, so that we have full traceability of machine components.
Okay, so that's obviously why you need it, but what is traceability? How do you achieve it?
So traceability could come from numerous factors. Sometimes it's a manufacturing number, a production number, a serial number, date code, and all of those things can be put on a company's part via our marking systems from SIC Marking. We have 3 different processes here. We have a Dot-peen process, which is an indent into the material. We have a scribe process, which is very similar, only much quieter. And we then have what we have here, which is a laser marking process.
So there's 3 different methods you guys offer with various advantages and disadvantages, but the laser process here is also not just interesting about the laser. You've got a cobot here which is automating, right now it's a pen, okay, but it could be anything else. So why are you automating this?
So automation sometimes is more appropriate because if we have a batch of components that are all the same, that a person would just literally usually stand there and put one of them in at a time, that person could be used doing something else a little bit more appropriate, whereas this cobot is just going to work away all day, potentially all night if it needed to. It's not going to catch a cold, it's not going to be off sick the next day, it's just going to carry on until it's pressed stop.
So it frees up all your operators and your skilled workers from doing maybe the more slightly redundant and slightly more boring task, which is loading the same part up, maybe 100, 200, depending on how many orders you have, that many times.
That's right, indeed, yes.
So we've got a cobot here and the laser marker with an automated door. Now this, to me, it looks like a tiny little automated CNC automation cell. So if people are going to be looking at automating their machine tools and their milling machines, there seems to be no reason why they shouldn't be looking at automating all the other processes in their machine shop, including marking.
Including marking. Marking is a key process, as we've said before. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go back one step, please. So before someone's thought about automating their marking system, they need to actually have a marking system. What do people do when they don't have one of these?
So yeah, some people use literally a hammer and some stamps, some letter stamps. Some people use a process called chemical etching, which is still used today quite regularly with certain things. But this is a laser marking system, and it's where you have a very, very high contrast of mark, very, very high quality mark, and sometimes it's more appropriate for something that's got to be aesthetically pleasing.
So first of all, if you've got someone with a set of alphabetical and alphanumeric punches or stamps, they're going to have to sit there and pick the right one out, knock it in, pick the right one out. That sounds to me like an absolute nightmare. So the first step should be buying one of these marking systems, which will free them up. They just put it in, press go, walk away. Then the step after that, once they've got too many parts that they can even do that reliably, then they need to start looking at one of these.
Potentially yes, because that is a very laborious process. It's taking from one tray, putting it into the laser marker closes the door, and then you've got to wait until it's done. That person could be doing something else. This is a fantastic process where you've got the robot loading the part into the machine automatically and then stacking it wherever it needs to be stacked, so that job could be got out the door much, much quicker.
Definitely. So if you've got whip that's been sat around waiting to get marked, or you don't want your skilled operators there with an alphanumeric set of punches stamping their own parts. You need to start looking at SIC marking, laser etching, laser, scribe, and Dot-peen, all at SIC Marking. Get in touch with either Paul or Simon. Who else can they get in touch with?
They can get in touch with Magnus Gator, he's our Northern Sales Manager, and Richard Fensham, he's our Southern UK Sales Manager, or myself as the General Manager.
Brilliant. Get in touch with SIC Marking on the Factory Now platform.